Live from New York, it's Ask an Engineer.
Hey everybody, it's time for your favorite hour of electronic goodness. It's Ask an Engineer. It's me, Lady Ada, the engineer. With me, Mr. Lady Ada. We're broadcasting live from the Adafruit factory. That's what you see behind us. That's our factory. This is where we actually do all of our testing, manufacturing, shipping, kitting, documentation, tutorials, videos, all the good stuff that you love about Adafruit products that make your projects shine.
0 billionaires on this show.
Yeah,
0
definitely
billionaires.
not. Yeah, definitely not. We are in New York, though, so there's probably one within like a couple miles.
Yeah. There's a restraining order against the billionaires. They can't come here.
They don't want to come here.
They don't want to come here.
There's no quants here. It's only electronics.
Right.
We got an exciting show for you tonight, filled and fun-packed with electronic news and updates, Circuit Python, new products, maybe a little giveaway at the end.
Yeah, maybe.
All that and more on tonight's show. Mr. Lady Ada, why don't you tell them what they got to look forward to?
On tonight's show, the code is RockBlock.
Rock, block, and beats.
Yeah, 10% off the Adafruit store all the way up till 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Everything that's in stock except for gift certificates, AdaBox, and Codecademy courses. It supports us, an open source hardware company manufacturing in New York City, 100% lady-owned, no loans, no venture capital. We've never received a tax break. We've never received anything. Every time you order something, you're helping out all the folks here because we like to pay them, and we have 401ks and cool things like paid day off for voting and paid day off for charity and stuff like that. So we do that. So that's how. But this is how we do it, though. You have to buy something once in a while to keep the lights on here. So use RockBlock.
Fair.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, that's how these shows are paid for. Next up, show and tell. People around the world showing and sharing their projects. Lydia will talk about who's on the show and tell and what project they shared. A little bit of JP's workshop and MakeCode Minute. We'll also do Python on hardware news. Talk about our jobs board at jobs.adafruit.com. Time travel, look around the world of makers, hackers, artists, and engineers, and things that are happening in the world. We've got some 3D printing, Don Pedro. We got some Adafruit factory footage and more. We got some new products. We got some top secret. We'll answer your questions. We do that over on Discord, adafruit.it/Discord, where you can join all 16,000 of us. All that and more on Ask an Engineer.
Okay.
That's the show. Okay, so yeah, don't forget, this
10%.
helps these folks. This is what we
And
do.
helps you.
Yeah, it helps save some money as you're doing good things.
Discount.
Okay, when you buy stuff, we also give you free stuff.
Free stuff.
Crazy. So
It comes with it.
what are the things that we give away?
I'm glad you asked. $99 or more, you get a free Perma-Proto half-sized PCB. Great for taking your solderless breadboard projects. You move them over to the Perma-Proto, solder them in. Now it's nice and strong, can survive a maker fair, a project deployment, all that good stuff free with your order of $99 or more. $199 or more, you get free UPS ground shipping. That's the little truck over there. That's free UPS ground shipping in the continental United States. It's our preferred domestic shipper. It's trackable, it's insured, it's going to get there when it says it's going to get there. We've had really good luck with UPS. We love it, and we'll give you free shipping, $199 or more. And at $299 or more, you get a free Circuit Playground Express, our all-in-one development board that's great for learning how to do electronics or coding. You can program it with MakeCode, Code.org CS Discoveries, Arduino, Circuit Python, TeenyGo, Microlisp. Comes with all the buttons and sensors and LEDs. You got 10 NeoPixels on it, microcontroller, memory, sensors, and even a little buzzer. So you can get started with your project. You'd have to do no soldering or breadboarding. You can even have alligator clips if you want to add more sensors. So a great way to get started with electronics, and it makes a great gift.
Okay. If you're in the U.S., use UPS ground.
Please.
If you like mysteries, cool.
UPS, yes.
And international, DHL. If you're in New York City and you order before 11 a.m. and it's one of the zip codes that we can get it to you same day, you'll see that on checkout. Just make sure you do that before 11 a.m. All right, show and tell. People around the world showing and sharing things. A delightful half an hour of makers coming together and sharing their stuff.
Yes.
What projects were on the show and tell?
I will tell you about it. Starting off with Anne, she's working on a purse from Bright Wearables that is designed for the microbit, and she's making a Clue-powered version, so that's super exciting. It's got all those NeoPixels built in, dot star LEDs built in, but also now has the TFT display. JP ported his heart rate monitor project that was on a Feather a couple weeks ago, now on the Clue using the Clue display. He added buzzer support and a couple other things, so check that out. It's on the heart rate guide. It's just a new page. Now, Pedro made a wearable clue case. You can wear it as a badge or as a bracelet slash watch. Melissa worked really hard on Web Serial this week and made a 3D rotating bunny website. So if you have a clue board or any board or sensor that has 9 degrees of freedom, you want to use Magic or NXP to turn that into orientation data. And then how do you view it? Well, Euler angles, you can kind of look at them and you can sort of, humans are good at understanding Euler angles, but you have a problem of gimbal lock because, they can line up in a way that makes it not possible to turn in some directions. So she made it work with both quaternions and Euler angles, and that way you can see how the bunny is moving. If you have quaternions, there's no gimbal lock, which is great. It's a perfect way to try out your 3D orientation data, and you don't have to run processing, and you don't have to run like a special desktop application. It's all in the browser, which is like so exciting to me. We'll talk about that as a guide, as well. Brian has been having a super sensor party on his desktop. He's been working on the LPS 25, on the HGS 221, just finished a bunch of sensors as well. As soon as some PCBs get here from China, those are going to be in the store. So you get a preview of some of the cool STEMMA sensors coming soon. Katney also showed off 2 clue demos. She's been having a really good time with the clue with the built-in sensors, building fun projects. So one project is a CircuitPython powered spirit level. So as you tilt it, there's circles that you have to keep the red ball in the center of, and it tells you when gravity is pointing straight down. So a good scientific project, and also a temperature and humidity alarm project, which could be great. I know people who have plants that have to keep temperature and humidity levels, or maybe a musical instrument, or maybe I know people who grow mushrooms, of all kinds, and they have to keep the humidity and temperature at a certain level. So this would be a really good board to put in there, and it will alert you if the temperature goes outside of a range.
I read an article that says mushrooms are the new kale. So
I love mushrooms.
Yeah, so kale, everybody kale.
Yeah.
Every restaurant kale. It's like these waves hit, especially I'd say cities. In New York, everything
kale.
turned to kale.
It was just like,
but apparently
streets of
it's
kale.
all about mushrooms now.
I'm into it.
So yeah,
I like mushrooms, all sorts. And then we also had some people from around the community come by. Liz has a MIDI demo with different interfaces like rotary encoders, potentiometers, accelerometers. Boop came by with a GPS floor LED watch she built from our guide and gave it to his son for his birthday with a 3D printed box. It looked really cool. And he's also working on little 3D robots like a grasshopper with little servo motors, and he's looking for the smallest servo motors you can get. So he's come by a couple times with very tiny robots. Good stuff. Helen made a leather microbit glove with like the microbit in the palm or the back of the hand. And it's like a musical cello, really cool effect. She's got a microbit, but we're like, hey, maybe you do that with a clue board, because then you get the orientation data. And Drew has a K210 board, this kind of machine learning board that people have been liking. It has a camera and TFT display. But this time he demoed it running Linux. The people in the community have been working on that. So very exciting to see the K210 advance up to being running an entire operating system. And that's what we had for show and tell.
All participants on the show and tell get an SCN on the show and tell sticker, or if you're Helen, I'm going to send you a clue.
Very special.
If you're a kid, though, have a Guardian-like entity email for you. This part of our Adafruit live series of shows. JP shows tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. JP's workshop. Here is a little preview of what you're going to see tomorrow, and then we'll see you on the other side. Every single week on JP's show, there is a MakeCode Minute. Here is last week's, and then, of course, tune in tomorrow at 4 p.m. for this week's. Take it away, JP.
Make good.
For the MakeCode Minute today, what I wanted to do was take a look at a set of blocks that you can use with NeoPixels on board for the Circuit Playground Express or external ones that are plugged in that allow you to rotate a pattern forward or backward through your strip. So this came actually from a forum question. Someone in the Adafruit forum said, hey, how do I use these rotate? And there's also a shift shift option in this. First of all, what am I talking about? If you look at my simulator here, I'll go full screen on the simulator, you'll see when I press the B button, I rotate my little set of 4 pixels clockwise. And when I hit the A button, I'll go counterclockwise. And you can also see it happening right here on my actual Circuit Playground, forward and backward. And so the way this works is, first of all, in my on-start block, I'm just setting up my NeoPixel strip as the onboard strips. This is a bit of a different setup than your usual light blocks here. Instead, we're heading to this NeoPixel section. We're creating a strip as if it's an off-board strip, but then we're pointing it right back onto the onboard pin. So it takes care of all of the details of RGBW ordering and the number of pixels in the strip, which is 10 in this case. And then I'm just setting 4 of those pixels to these colors, red, magenta, cyan, and blue. And then it's these are the key blocks here. Inside of my button A and button B, I'm using this onboard strip rotate by 1 or onboard strip rotate by -1. And what that means is when you press the button, it's going to move all of the pixels over 1 unit or backwards 1 unit. And part of the smarts of it is that it realizes, based on how long your strip is, that when it reaches the end of the strip, it doesn't just fall off the edge of the world, it flips around back to the very first one, like a snake eating its own tail. And so that's how you can use the rotate block on the Circuit Playground Express inside of MakeCode. And that is your MakeCode Minute.
All right, and don't forget, 4 p.m. tomorrow, JP Show, where you can learn how to make all that stuff and more. You'll see probably, I think, the most cutting edge, easiest to get started Bluetooth work out there.
Yeah.
You'll see that each week on JP Show. It's like we all just got a new toy. Like Bluetooth's been around, but it's been inaccessible, too hard to do. The frameworks, the downloads, the tool chain, everything was terrible. Now it's easy. It's like, oh, cool, let me have a heart rate monitor, let me have it do this, let me have it do that, let me have it like...
Especially, I think the combination of like web Bluetooth coming
Yeah.
and CircuitPython, I think together will make it possible, because we've just always struggled how to do it on the desktop, how to do it on devices. So I think we have a solution for both now.
Yeah. Speaking of,
Blinka,
it's
blinka, blinka.
time for Python on hardware. So
It's a forking good time.
Yeah, so I think these are cute.
They are cute.
Yeah, this is a series of. It's an article, but it's also a GitHub thing. It's github.com/Adafruit/awesome-micropythons. So through the
Not awesome MicroPython, awesome MicroPythons.
plural.
Yeah.
So MicroPython has a lot of different flavors and a lot of different ports and a lot of different forks.
Correct.
And example is MicroPython's on a lot of calculators.
Right.
MicroPython, there's a flavor of it for XP. There's a MicroPython for ESP32s.
Yeah.
And so the thing that was the challenge was there wasn't one spot that listed all these.
Yeah.
So what we did is we made a list of all the awesome MicroPythons, including the forks. Like CircuitPython is a derivative, it's a fork of MicroPython. For beginners, lots of hardware support.
Yeah.
There's a fork of MicroPython that's just for the ESP32. There's one that got started for like the NXP series.
Yeah.
So we put all these together, and then there was a helpful community member that there's this like chart generating thing, so you can see all the different forks.
Yeah. It's
and ports.
approximate. You know, the times aren't. You know,
Yeah.
it's we're basing it off some GitHub data, which is not always 100%.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know this, but the most distributed version of MicroPython is the one that's on the microbit.
That's right.
And that's
millions.
That's a completely separate fork.
An early fork
an
too.
early fork.
Yeah.
And
they're like they don't take any updates. It's like it's
yeah,
frozen in time.
That's it.
Yeah.
And so it's a good, I think, start of a community list of all these things. When it was made, if it's being maintained, all that stuff. So check that out. Also, this was from CircuitPython Day for last year, but it just got posted. This is the video from the CircuitPython Celebration Day in Beirut. One of the things that we set out to do is have something that had international appeal for anyone on planet Earth. If you want to do educational programming. So this was neat because we didn't plan this at all. Just people said, oh, by the way, we did one in Beirut. So watch the video, and you can see the folks that put on the event and like their stories on the YouTube video as well. This is kind of neat. This is our update that we did for our app. Blue Fruit can control this little puppet. Kind of neat. There's Sparky. So it's a digital puppet that as you move it around. So we'll be doing this with Clue as well. Speaking of Clue, Clue has been hitting the news, so a lot of people got theirs. They've been writing reviews and more, so check out those articles.
Yeah, still alpha, but will be in release soon. Very exciting.
Open Hardware Summit is coming up pretty soon. The badge there is CircuitPython powered, and so I believe this was Alex who showed the testers.
This is a testing jig.
Yeah, this is a testing
This is an intense testing jig.
Yeah. And this
Look at
tests
this.
each badge.
Yeah, it's Raspberry Pi powered. There's a display. There's a little magnetic holder.
Yeah, it's cool.
Very exciting. So everyone who goes gets a CircuitPython watch badge.
This is Liz, also known as Blitz City, who showed this project on Show and Tell tonight, but we had this in our Python on Hardware newsletter because it is a CircuitPython-based musical instrument. Melissa got her Clue, and the first thing she did was, let's make sure this works with this little bot accessory. One of the bits of feedback that we had already was, you know what I really like about Clue? I can finally use all these accessories that I wanted to do a bunch of stuff with after.
And take them further.
Yeah, and take them further and like all the stuff I wanted to do. So that's neat to know. We also posted up our how we named and came up with the Clue. So every single time that we do a project or a platform, you and I usually hang out and we do sketches and we write all these things and I scan them in. So this was neat. How did we arrive at the Clue as a product? So you can see that. It's kind of neat. Special thanks to Andrew and Discord who made this handy dandy Clue pinout. You can download it off of our site or you can check it out on Discord. Here's a Ultimaker Mini and it uses the Clue to light up the insides of it. It's kind of nice.
Fun, easy project.
Allie, who is teaching classes with kids, introduced 106 kids to the Circuit Playground Express, and this is what that looks like. Here's all of them learning
Coding.
Make
coding. Blink. Look at all these LEDs blinking.
Yeah, some are doing MakeCode, some are using Moose, some are doing Python, but this is 106 kids, and DigiKey helped make this happen. And very cool, Allie. Good work. Here's another example of someone, they have this, I think it's called the cube bit, and you plug a microbit into it, and you can control a cube, but you can also plug in Clue, and you can use our app, Blue Fruit Connect, and you can use that to control the cube.
Nice.
Kind of cool. Other folks getting their clues, this was Bu, I believe, who was on our show and tell last week, and this is a environmental sensor Clue that will make the LED change color based on, I believe, what it's sensing. This was kind of neat. This was a Circuit Python meetup, and this was in Pune, India, and this was a really neat workshop to see folks do. So we have more information about that. So this is contagious in a good way, you know, that you hear that in the news.
Well, we
right
designed
now.
Circuit Playground Express and Circuit Python for, you know, and we like MakeCode for workshops because you can actually get something done in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, Arduino is very powerful. I really like Arduino. I use it every day. It's really hard to
get a workshop going, yeah.
in 45 minutes because there's so much setup people have to do.
It was Valentine's Day last week, so of course people made Valentine's Day projects. They shared those. There's this thing called Psychic Paper in the Doctor Who universe, and this is a CircuitPython powered e-ink display that has this e-ink flash very quickly.
Is it like
cool.
a
Psychic Paper?
Psychic
yeah,
paper?
it's
I don't know
e-ink.
what it is.
And then this
wallet?
was from the newsletter that I liked to read. James Bowman, I believe, from X Camera.
Yeah.
He got CircuitPython going on a 1280 by 720 screen. So
Yeah,
getting
using-
closer to HDMI out for CircuitPython.
We're totally going to
stuff,
have Circuit Python PCs.
Yeah. This is Kevin's projects. These are the Circuit Brains. I believe these are going to be live soon. And
Tindy, yeah?
Tindy, or it might be
Crowd
Crowd Supply. Yes, it's Crowd Supply.
Okay.
So you'll see this soon. They were just submitted.
Nice.
And they're also in circuitpython.org/downloads. David is working on this thermal camera project, but of course got Clue on it using the screen. Alex is still working on the Sock Puppet Robot project. You can see the video number 2. This person just got their new Teensy 4, And they got CircuitPython running on it out of the box. So this person is Teensy fan, and now you can do even more things with your Teensy, like run CircuitPython.
It's like a dream getting
it's like a dream.
So easy.
GroupGets has, this is the preview of the new Orange Crab feather format. I believe this is another one that will be live shortly.
Yeah, it's FPGA. I mean, it's going to be, you know, a fair price for a powerful board.
It's a monster.
You want this beast, this Orange Crab, which looks cute, but it's a beast.
This is
you get a lot.
Feather e-ink badge.
I love this. Is so cute.
Yeah, this was for, I think, the
JoJo Cruise.
JoJo Cruise badge.
Yeah.
And it's e-ink, and on the back, what's this? Oh, it's a feather.
Oh, that's cute.
We did an article series. We found everything that is microbit shaped, and said, "Here's everything." Because we were
wondering, like, you know,
how many are there? Yeah.
Microbit shape. And here's the thing: I thought that I knew every microbit shaped board. I didn't even know.
There's
half
a menagerie of them.
There were so many more than I thought. Like, I never even heard of this. It's like the new bit.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And then last up, everyone has seen this on the internet. This is the rotary cell phone.
Yeah, this made the rounds.
This made the rounds. Has an e-ink display. It's a rotary cell phone. Now, the thing that a lot of people may or may not know, it depends on which site you looked at it on. If you looked at it on a site and they know anything about electronics, or they Google around, or they just quote the maker of this, this has a phone inside of it.
Yay!
And
our e-ink breakout.
And our e-ink breakout. And so we're very proud to continue to be the only U.S. cell phone manufacturer.
For rotary cell phones.
We're a U.S. cell phone manufacturer.
You actually really like, it's the side. It has like those like modem LEDs.
Yeah, this is the future we all wanted.
This is a nice project.
And that is Python and Hardware News this week. Okay. Next up, jobs.adafruit.com. I went over the jobs that are currently up there last week. I'd say take a look at the firmware engineer position for Bear Conductive, by the way.
Lots of good jobs.
Seems like a cool job. But I just want to remind everyone, because I think we have an almost perfect success rate with people finding their dream job. So someone we know just got a job at CrowdSupply.
That's right.
And they saw the job listing on...
It's free to submit a job. It's free to apply to a job. It's free.
And we do...
It's a service.
We do look at each one to make sure nothing's scammy or sketchy.
But we're not collecting the data or anything.
Yeah, we don't do that.
We don't do anything with that.
So when the job is submitted, I look at it and see if it's legit. Like, we've had scammers and spammers try to, do stuff.
Yeah.
We just don't allow those on there.
Yeah.
And they don't complain because they're scammers and spammers. They just move on.
That's right.
So jobs.adafruit.com, and if you have skills, post up your skills there if you're like someone who's looking for a specific
Please do.
role. All right, time travel. A couple things going on in the world. This is a video that we shot. It's not a top secret now because I believe it's all public. But if you want to get animated GIFs running on the Clue, we have a little video.
Yeah,
Data, what is this?
Hey, just doing a little test on my Clue. We've got an animated GIF guide that we did for the PyPortal, where we could display animated GIFs on a display that's built into a board. And the Clue is a 240 by 240 TFT. So here you go. It's displaying GIFs that I've dragged and dropped onto the built-in 2 megabyte disk drive. So this is great for little animations, or you want to do a video or something, just convert it to a GIF, drag it on, and play it.
Cool.
And other things that are going on, if you have not already, please subscribe to Hackspace Magazine. We had a video show today with Ben from Hackspace Magazine. You can use hsmag.cc/Adafruit. They are launching in the US, and they said, hey, will you help us launch? And we said yes.
Of course.
So we don't get paid for this.
No.
There's no exchange of anything at all whatsoever. We said we want to see cool magazines thrive.
And if they get enough subscribers, they'll print them in the US, which means less carbon being used because it's not going to be flying in an airplane for every order. And it's a really great monthly magazine, and it doesn't replace any other magazines. You can subscribe to Make, you can subscribe to Circuit Seller, subscribe to this magazine.
Yeah.
They're all great, and I love thumbing through our copy of HS, the
it's great.
magazine.
I have a video that I did. We have an app that has a really big update. It's Bluefruit Playground.
Yep.
So take it away past me. This is the puppet feature.
Go past you.
Okay, I have a Circuit Playground Bluefruit, and we have an app, Bluefruit Playground. It just updated, and we have a new feature in it. So let's start up the app. It's going to ask for the device. It's going to be like, hey, we should pair a device. So let's get started. It walks you through all these different things. And then we have this discovery area, and it couldn't find a device because I didn't plug it in yet. But it gave me some good information. So there it is, Bluefruit. We're going to connect up. And once we connect up, we have all these different things we can do. That'll be a video later. Today is only about Puppet. So Puppet's a new feature. You can see Puppet is Sparky, and when I move the device around, it moves Sparky around. I can press a button, do all sorts of things. And the other feature is a nice green screen, and I can have it expand out. Now once I do that, it means I could pull it into some video software and do fun things like this. And I also have this Sparky that I can do all sorts of neat things with, and now it's part of a show. The things that you can do in the app, or it suggests, is like, hey, if you wanted to make this like a little hand puppet, you can. But that's Sparky, and all the different things that you can do with Bluefruit. And here, let's look at it on the overhead as well. You could see as I move the device around, and it's wireless, so this is like a wireless puppet that you can do cool stuff with. So as I move this around, you can do neat things with it. So anyways, thought I'd show this off, and it's in the store. Just go to the App Store and search for Adafruit or Bluefruit Playground, and you too can play with Sparky. And this is kind of I go get the app, go get the app. So anyways, I left that little QR code there for a second, so if you have your phone out, you can
Scan it, get the app.
Okay,
It's free.
we are an open source hardware company,
It's
Lady Ada.
true.
It's true, and one of the things we're doing is trying to get all of the stats about the company, and I'm just posting them up.
Great.
Because that's usually the scariest thing ever. Why not just post up stats? So here's some stats that we posted up in the last week.
Tell me the stats.
Adafruit IO, here's how we're doing with Adafruit IO. The text is really small.
I know. Do you want to
but
put on the monitor?
yeah, I guess I'll do that. I wanted to tell everybody how many people are using it.
I can read it off.
Yeah, let me get it on this other screen here so I can read it to the folks at home.
Okay.
Okay, so in the last 30 days, we have about 16,000 active users. Altogether, we have 300,000 users, but they don't all use it at the same time.
Right.
It's about 16,000 active people. In the last 7 days, we added about 2,000 people. We have about 450,000 feeds. That's how we kind of measure stuff. So feeds created in the last 7 days, about 5,000. In the last 30 days, there was 789 million records inserted. There are about 18 million background jobs per day and about 4,200 MQTT
Wow.
connections that live 24/7. And basically, that's kind of how MQTT works.
It is.
It just lives forever.
You have a
yeah.
socket open, but look, we have 65,500 and so different sockets
Yeah.
that we can open. So
So
There you go.
if then this that, which there's a connector for it for Adafruit IO, so you can do lots of cool triggering stuff. They're all time. This is the that's been used 6,500. Applet runs 201 million, and then applets turned on all time 151,000.
Cool.
Yeah. So those are some stats. Also, more stats.
also, I think what it shows is people sometimes use Adafruit IO and then they're like, okay, I've built a project, I got it, doing what I want. Now I'm going to maybe move to another, more like enterprise level server, or maybe I just completed the project I wanted to complete, which is the goal, right?
Yeah.
Make it easy to start up and easy to shut down, so you can use it whenever you want.
So you're probably saying, but what about your
What about the apps?
app download stuff? Okay, cool.
Big.
The biggest one, and this was a bit of a surprise. So we have 181,000 downloads of Bluefruit LE Connect. I believe this is the most popular Bluetooth app for makers. I don't
sure.
unless someone is me on Twitter or something
Okay.
like that. Circuit Playground for iOS, we have 25,000 downloads. Adafruit TV, we have about 12,000 viewers, because that's how once you get it, you kind of use it. So
Yeah.
that's good to know. Bluefruit LE Connect for Mac OS, 6,000 downloads. Mo's Resistance for iOS, around 4,200 downloads. And let me just go back to this. We also have two new apps that we just released. Adafruit AR, about 1,200 downloads. That's up 8% from last week. We just released it, so I put the week over week. And then Bluefruit Playground, we're about to have 1,000 downloads. That's a new app
you
too.
just started,
and
yeah.
that's gone up 14% week over week.
Nice.
Now you're saying, but what about Android? So here's one problem with Android stuff. No matter how many times I say, like, we have an Android app or we're going to have one, someone says, but what about Android? I actually don't know what this issue is.
Yeah.
So I think this will help. So our Bluefruit Connect app, around 11,000 downloads. Now
Which
compare
is-
that with iOS, which is, it's 10 times more for iOS.
It's 20 times
20
more.
times more, sorry.
Yeah.
That's why you do all the math.
That's fine. 18 times more, yeah.
Yeah, Circuit Playground for Android, 728 downloads. Most Resistant for Android, 126. And
Which
then
is what we had 4,000 for
yeah.
Apple. So it's it's really significant.
Yeah,
It's
and then
not
Bluefruit
that
Playground
people-
Community Edition, again, just launched, 58. So, in case folks are wondering, that's what that looks
And
like.
this is what the challenge. It's like we do have Android apps, but
Yeah.
the amount of time it takes, and we've done these, and we release some, but we only have 58
Yeah.
downloads, and
Compare.
we have to decide what we can dedicate our time on and
Yeah.
what makes sense. So that's why we release with iOS first, because it is the most popular. We
Okay.
reach the most people.
And then let's do some guides.
Yeah,
But the only thing is, I forgot to put in the slide for the guides.
that's fine.
So what I'm going to do, I think, is
I actually kind of know what the guides are.
yeah. Do you want to talk about the guides while I
Yeah.
get that going, and then I'll put it up there.
Okay, so one guide that we had was Brian's Sip and Puff guide. So this is a cool guide using our LPS33 sensor that has a port, and it has a little hat on it that you can attach tubing onto. So we can make a sip and puff sensor, something that you can detect if you put a tube in your mouth, connected sensor, you sip or you puff, and this is an alternative user interface. Some people who need alternative user interfaces like to use it if they can't use a touch screen, or maybe they can't use voice, or they can't use eye location. Sip and Puff is a really easy and intuitive interface to use. So we kind of made a CircuitPython library and example showing how to do multiple sip detection. So it can be low pressure sip, high pressure sip, low pressure puff, and high pressure puff. So we can use that and encode that data to create like a more advanced interface, and just like sip and puff, it's like you have 5 options now instead of just 3. So we got up a guide, and what's nice is it uses the STM32 F405 Feather, which has a stem connector, so it's plug and play. There's no soldering in this guide. We also did a guide I worked on with Melissa, a guide on 9DOF sensors and AHRS. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
So
Got
the
it.
Sip and Puff was the one on the right. So the how to fuse motion sensor data into AHRS. So we've actually had a guide that we wrote many, many years ago about sensor fusion, and enough has improved, and we wanted to also make it a lot easier. So first off, we completely refactored the library. So now you have 3 options. You have Mahoney, Magic, and the open source NXP sensor fusion library. Each one of them is a little bit more complicated, which means if you have an Uno, you maybe can only use Mahoney. If you have a Cortex chip, you can use NXP Fusion. We added support for a lot more chips. So we have LSM9DS0, LSM9DS1, NXP sensor set, the FXOS and FXAS, as well as the LSM 6DS series, the 33, the DSOX, the ISM 3300 with a magnetometer. So you can fuse these 9DOF sensors together using, you choose which sensors, choose which fusion algorithm, and then the best part is, thanks to Melissa, we have a 3D model viewer that can view quaternions, because a lot of people want to have quaternion output, not Euler output. Euler output is easier for humans to read because it's like pitch, yaw, and roll, and as humans we understand that very well. We think in those 3 dimensions. The problem is that when you rotate in a certain direction, you can get gimbal lock, and you actually get really weird outputs. And people don't like that, so they choose quaternions, but then humans can't visualize quaternions as easily. So we made a web serial viewer. So this demo here is actually completely done in a browser. So there's no processing required. You don't have to download any apps. You don't have to install any software. You just run the Chrome browser, which almost everybody has already, and then you go to this website, and it can connect over serial port and then view the quaternion data as a rotating bunny. So we've kind of really refactored all of that. It took me 2 weeks, but it's way, way better. We have quaternion output, this web serial. It's really in a good spot. We can take it to the next level because we have a lot more 9DOF sensors. And then I think we had one more guide.
Yeah, we
had the
do.
Clue case guide,
Yeah.
which you have a video.
Yeah, we have the Clue case guide. We're going to show that.
Oh, and the puppet guide.
And the puppet guide that I just recently showed.
Yeah.
That.
So this is actually
that's
how
why
to
I
use it
forgot
with
to put it in.
Yeah, we have OBS and
And
this is from last
I
week.
promised the tree video this week.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to play the tree video, and then we're going to go to some factory footage.
Okay, take it away, Tree.
us some Made in New York City factory footage. Take it away, Adafruit Factory. And it wouldn't be Adafruit Factory footage without a sunrise or sunset or construction going
Welding
on
going
outside
on there.
our windows.
It's
there.
cool stuff.
Yeah. Okay, 3D printing. We have two videos. We're going to be playing them back to back. We have the clue case video, and then we have the 3D printed Bluetooth synth.
All right, take it away, extruders.
Hey, what's up folks? In this video, we're taking a look at Adafruit's Clue dev board. This features the same shape and size like the BBC Microbit, so it'll work with existing add-ons. Adafruit's Clue has a 1.3-inch IPS display, so you can make projects with text and graphics. It's packed with tons of sensors like an accelerometer, gyroscope, magnetometer, pressure, temperature, and much more. It features the NRF52840 with a Cortex-M4 processor and 2 MB of internal flash. It also has a PDM microphone, speaker, NeoPixel, and a stemma connector, so you can plug and play even more sensors. With Bluetooth, you can make wireless projects that control your BLE devices. For example, you can control your phone using Apple's music service to play, pause, and even change the volume. With Adafruit CircuitPython, you can make cool projects using Adafruit's libraries and demo code. The Learn Guide has all the documentation you need and examples so you can quickly get your projects up and running. With CircuitPython, your code and libraries live on the board like a USB drive, so you can access your code on any computer. This makes development really fast because you don't have to compile the code, so you can see your updates almost instantly. So get a clue and start learning how to sense the world around you. We designed and 3D printed a case for the Clue so you can easily wear it like a badge or a watch. It has enough room for a LiPo battery so you can make your projects portable. You have access to the Edge connector so you can use the touchpads as controls for your projects. You can get the parts to build this project, links are in the description. The bezel is attached to the front of the case to keep the display nicely secured. You can use flexible filaments to 3D print the wristbands. Tabs on the end press fit into the slits on the side of the case. It features multiple holes so you can adjust it to fit your wrist. Use a slide switch with a JST adapter to turn the Clue on and off. The Clue board is installed into the case without any hardware screws. The slide switch is press fitted into the built-in holder. You can easily connect and disconnect the battery using the JST adapter. The back cover snap fits onto the case and keeps everything nicely secured. The built-in tab lets you reset so you can easily upgrade the firmware. Use the slit on the end to tuck in the bands to keep it nice and tight. You can also attach the case to a lanyard so you can wear it to your next conference. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more products from Adafruit.
And if you want to learn how to make all of those things and then some, tune in to 3D Hangouts every Wednesday at 11 a.m. with Noah and Pedro. Okay, Lydia, before we go on to new products, I just have a couple things to mention. One,
Don't forget.
Code is Rockblock, and that's 10% off the Native Free Store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't forget, these are all the folks that you'd be helping out. In fact, in the front row there on the right, shout out to Stella, who's also in our Discord. Hi, Stella.
Yay.
Stella's the smartest working CFO in this
in the
biz.
world. I've not met a better one.
So
I don't know. I think she's.
I
the
actually
best.
ask people who run companies. I'm like, does your CFO go to your Discord server and like, what's Discord? And then like, and if they do know about that, like, what? No, what do you mean? Someone would go and be in public? What if someone asks them something? What if they? Oh no. So anyways, we think that's cool. I think companies operate better if they
on Discord.
You
just gave away all of our stats.
Had their teams. Yeah, we're doing stats. We're doing lots of stats on our site. So,
True.
anyways, let's.
And then don't forget AdaBox too. Did you do the subscription?
Yeah, you.
Oh, sorry.
No, you gotta.
I'm ahead of time.
You gotta plug the AdaBox
Yeah.
stuff. But let's go to new products now.
Okay.
You want to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
So you said two things, so I thought that was the second.
Yeah, I forgot.
That's okay.
I kind of got lost in that.
It's new.
Yeah. So, AdaBox.
Here it is.
I could tell you. Here's some stats. We have less than 100 openings.
Less. I know because I got an alert
We get
too.
alerts.
I got an alert.
So we have less than 100. So we're a little ahead. we're going to be shipping in April, so you do have a little time, but not a lot of time.
Yep, there was a little bit of a delay due to COVID. We have all the parts ready for AdaBox, but they're stuck and they can't ship out. So it'll be maybe a couple weeks later than expected on this AdaBox, but don't worry, we'll make it.
It'll be fine.
The best
so this
AdaBox
does
ever.
give you a little bit more time to subscribe, but you are going to run out of time. So,
Yes,
anyways, there's
we will.
100, but lots of 100 slots left.
When the slots are out, it doesn't matter, when we ship. If the slots are done, the slots are done.
Okay, first up.
Okay, first up, we've got some fun, quick Stemma QT cable action here. This is a Grove connector to a JST-SH, also known as a quick
to that.
or
that
Stemma
to this.
QT.
Yeah.
We have the JST-PH. This is like I don't know the name of this connector. This is actually kind of like a custom connector, which is why we got this cable from SparkFun. You want to zoom in?
Boop.
I think I kind of like this.
You want it that way?
This is good. This is good. A good amount.
Okay.
So, so this is a Grove feather wing shield that we've got here just as a demo. And you'll see that this one is the clock data 3-volt ground port. And so we've plugged in this cable with the little latchy bit here into the port. And it latches in place. And on the other end, we can plug in any Stemma QT or quick sensor.
That's cool.
Only thing I want to warn people about is there are some Grove shields, especially for like the Arduino Uno or the Mega maybe, that would have 5-volt power instead of 3-volt power, in which case you can definitely still use Stemma QT because we have a little regulator here that converts any input into 3 volts. But if you're using a SparkFun Quick board, just be aware you might have to set it to be 3 volts. So it's like, we want to warn people so they don't plug in a 3-volt sensor into a 5-volt. It's not an issue if you're using any of our Adafruit boards, because you can see on the back, they all say VLogic VCC 3 to 5 volts, but it's something I should mention. That said, if you have, it goes both ways too. If you have a feather or like, this clue board, for example, I'll show it off on the overhead very carefully. This has a JST-SH Stemma QT or quick sensor on it. You can then plug in Grove sensors. So it goes both ways. So it's a nice little converter cable, easy to make all of your Quick and Grove projects work so well together.
All right. Speaking of,
another little breakout. This is handy. This is a breakout to a dual JST-SH breakout, also from SparkFun, shown here. I can't really show it any better than that demo. You can solder some header onto it, female header, male header, plug into a breadboard, and it breaks out 2 JST-SH connectors, and then you can plug in any of our sensors. So it's, or if you have a board that doesn't have a Stemma QT connector on it, you can make it so by, again, soldering in those connectors. So,
all right.
Very handy, breadboard friendly. It's a nice little accessory.
Next up, we had Pete Warden on our show. He was talking about this book, and now we have the book in the store. So TinyML.
It's just great, and I love the graphics. It's a thick book too. I'm gonna hold this up.
Yeah, this is a book.
It's chunky.
Yeah.
Look at this chunkiness. This is like a huge book, and they wrote this in like 6 months. They flew by it. So you want to show it on the overhead? Chunky, and it covers using TensorBoard, using Colab, using Arduino, the SparkFun Edge board, the Arduino Nano 33 BLE. I think are the 2 main boards that are in this.
Yeah, but I have some good news for you.
Our guides show how to use our stuff.
So this is a good book to get started. If you want to have what I think the best hardware is, you can use our stuff, and this is still a good reference.
It's still, the code is the same, but what you can do is if you're reading this and you're like, oh wait, I have an Adafruit Edge board, or have a Clue or whatever, or a Circuit Playground Bluefruit, just go to the learn.adafruit.com website, and then you can follow along our guide, which is basically the same kind of content, but it's not as explained. Like, this is obviously, this is way thicker than the guide.
When people say, well, how do I get started with like machine learning? Pick up an Edge badge and do our guides just for the first, like, okay, in 5 minutes I can get it to do something.
Just get the demos,
and then get this book, and then really start, tweaking on the models that you can start to make. And then also check out Teachable Machine from Google, which I think is one of the most helpful things for quickly making your own models for devices like, Raspberry Pi and stuff like that. Okay.
Okay.
So, next up, and this is why that code was what it was.
Rock block.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have twofer. We have the rock block modem with an FTDI cable.
Yeah.
And don't try to register that one. This one is mine, so I've already registered it.
And do you want me to, and you want to show this cable thing too?
Yeah, they go together. So this is the cable,
right.
breakout cable that goes with the rock block, so you can use it on a breadboard.
Okay,
so let me show this on The
What is this thing? It
overhead.
looks like a GPS or something.
I know,
Like,
this
what
is kind of
this?
interesting.
What is it?
You want to ask what is it again?
What is it?
Okay, this is a Iridium satellite modem. So this is antenna. It looks like a GPS antenna, but it's actually connects to the 66 low Earth orbit Iridium satellites that are circling the globe right now. And you can send short messages, like a couple hundred bytes, maybe not even 100 bytes. I can't remember the exact number, but it's definitely not. It's about a text message worth. And this is the modem. Once you register the modem, you can then send messages to and from this modem anywhere on Earth. And when I say anywhere, I mean it like literally anywhere on this great Earth. If you can see the sky, you have the antenna pointed at the sky, you can send and receive messages within a few minutes. So if you're doing mountaineering, if you're doing oceanography, if you're going to be in the middle of nowhere, if you're, doing NGO projects in places that do not have cellular access, this will let you send and receive messages. And to get you started, it comes with an FTDI cable with a USB connector. And this means that you can easily follow along with the tutorials to send and receive your first messages through the AT command set using your computer. So you get that, you register it through the Rock 7 website, you connect your computer, you can just practice sending messages back and forth because they're not cheap, so you want to make sure your code's working. And then once you're ready to implement it with the microcontroller, you could use this cable, you can use the connectors on the end, or of course you can cut this off and solder directly to them, either way. And this exposes, like, there's a 5-volt power, there's a LiPo power input, there's UART, and then there's flow control for the UART. There's also signal. There's a pinout documentation. All that stuff is online. So this lets you really control the modem through an embedded project. So you can use it with a Raspberry Pi, CircuitPython, Arduino, anything. It's just a UART running at about 19.2 kilobaud. So the only thing I got to warn people about is it's satellite, so it's a little different than cellular or Wi-Fi. First off, you can use it anywhere in the world, but you have to pay for it. So there's a monthly registration that you have to pay. It's only maybe like $15 or so. Don't check out exactly the price because I can't remember off the top of my head. And you have to pay per message, and it's like 10 cents a message. So you have to have both a monthly subscription and also a per message subscription for sending and receiving. It's not that expensive compared to how expensive it used to be, but it's not free. So, if you're comparing it with cellular, where you can usually get, you have to pay for cellular, but oftentimes you can get a plan that's like all SMSs are inclusive, or, your data plan is gigabytes. This is not gigabytes. It's not even megabytes. This is the kilobytes level of data, but it works anywhere in the world. Second, it does have some basic location triangulation, but it's not a GPS. So if you want to have it send exact location, you would have to get a separate GPS module, connect it up to your microcontroller or Raspberry Pi or whatever, read that, and then send the GPS coordinates over this, because it will give you some location, but the location isn't perfect. Third, you have to register it through Rock 7, which is an Iridium reseller. So they make these modules, and part of the deal is they're selling them at a really good price because they're expecting you to go and register on their website and then have a monthly subscription fee and per message fee. If you want to use it with another Iridium provider, you can, but you'll have to contact Rock 7 to unlock it, which is like $50 or $60. So as long as you're aware of these things, this is it's more expensive than cellular or Wi-Fi, but for what you're getting, it's very inexpensive. I mean, the fact that for a couple $100 you can send messages anywhere in the world is amazing. And the price per message is not that expensive, as long as you're putting your data together in the right way. So I love it. It's really small. We're going to do some projects with CircuitPython and the Clue, maybe sending data around, but a great way for any developer, scientist, student, or engineer to start using satellite communication.
All right. And then to start the show, besides you, Lady Ada, Stella, our CFO, and the community and our employees,
Stella is for sale.
This.
The Bonsai Buckaroo. This is coming soon.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of our circuit boards are in China, and they're currently quarantined, not the PCBs, but the people who are sending and making them. And so just to keep things going, we're putting in some coming soons so people know what we would have released this week if we got our circuit boards. So this is the Bonsai Buckaroo, and it's an add-on for microbits or clues, works for both, and it has these 5 screws on the bottom that bolt on to your clue or microbit, and then you get a speaker.
Yeah, let's just show it.
You want to show it?
Let's just show it.
Yeah, I got it hooked up to this plant, so let me hook it up here. I got this plant over here. Let me bring this back out, and then
That's good.
okay.
It's a good demo.
Yeah, it's a good one. Let me give it this way. So,
Look at this. Got space stuff, got plant stuff.
I
All
know.
right.
Space
Land's seeing air
plants.
tonight. Okay, good.
All right, so you bolt the 5 bolts on, and this makes it nice and secure. You get a speaker. So the clue has a buzzer, but the microbit does not. And for some projects where you might not want to have a motor, you just want to have it notify you if like the plant needs watering, you can have a speaker go off. It's connected to pin 0, which is in MakeCode the default speaker pin. We also have a 3-volt motor port. So this is a surface mount terminal block, and you can connect this to here. I've got a little motor sitting at the bottom of this glass with some tubing. Now I don't have the tubing going to the plant because this poor plant, I don't want to overwater it while I'm doing the demo because I like this plant. It's a very nice plant, good plant. And then on the clue, for example, we have these 2 pads for the pin 1, power and ground, and I'm using that to measure the resistance between these 2 nails. So let's say I want to simulate what it would be like if it wasn't in conductive soil, if it was in dry soil. When I remove the nail, you'll see the resistance goes up. It's basically like infinite resistance. And then the motor turns on every few seconds, and you can see over here water is getting pumped out. So not all at once, just little bits of water. And then when the plant is nice and moist again, the resistance goes down and the pump turns off. So this is a really great way for kids and students to learn how to read sensor data and then maybe display it and then perform a robotic action such as
The
this
fact that you
pump.
could just do this on live video is amazing. That means it works.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
totally works.
that's how easy it is.
It's
That's
got
actually
debug
just-
output.
Yeah.
And you can use it with MicroBit, with MakeCode, or you can use it with Clue, with CircuitPython.
One of the
same,
things.
Same design.
Since we have a microbit shaped thing, we're like, oh, we should probably do some accessories.
Yeah, now I'm
And
actually kind of excited.
This
'cause I'm
one's like,
ooh.
oh yeah, like this is something that we would want for a microbit or a clue. So we're like, oh, let's just do it.
Yeah, so it's coming soon. It's really simple, but it works
Yeah.
really well. And I like that it's no soldering is required. You just screw some things in, you plug some things
Yeah.
on, you put the tubing on the pump, you put it in a cup of water, and now you can start experimenting.
This is what the final silk's gonna look like.
Yeah, it's nice by Phil B.
Yeah.
Why is there watermelon there? I don't know. I'll tell you later.
Yep.
And then, a toucher motor, or you can have it beep instead if you want to have just like a audio output. It's another thing we wanted to make sure that there was accessibility options for people who are coding. Maybe they can't, visually see LEDs or display. You could have an auditory alarm as well. So this is coming soon. Sign up, and as soon as we get those circuit boards, we're going to crank these out because I know people want to do planting projects for the spring.
Yeah.
Coming up soon. And that's new products. New.
Let's do a quick recap.
Recap time.
You ready?
New recap. We've got the Grove to JST-SH cable. This is great for connecting Grove boards to Stemma QT or Quick boards, or Stemma QT or Quick boards to Grove sensors. Works either way. This breakout gives you 2 JST-SH connectors, and you can plug it into a breadboard with nice 0.1-inch header spacing. Great for Stemma QT or Quick boards as well. It's from SparkFun as well. You got the TinyML book. This is finally out. If you'd like to try TensorFlow Lite from microcontrollers on your small boards like our Edge Badge or Circuit Playground Bluefruit, check out this book. It's hefty, but it teaches you everything you need to know about machine learning, especially for small devices. We've got the RockBlock modem. This allows you to connect to the Iridium satellite network anywhere in the world and send short messages to and from. It's pretty amazing that you can get anywhere in the world communication for a really good price. And we also have a cable that makes it easier for developers to use this. So it comes with an FTDI cable for debugging with a computer. This cable will let you connect it to any microcontroller or microcomputer, such as a Raspberry Pi, using a UART connector. And then coming soon, we've got the Bonsai Buckaroo, your friend for making plant watering projects. It connects to microbit or microbit-like boards, such as the Clue, and gives you a buzzer output, a speaker, a motor driver for controlling a small 3-volt pump, as well as alligator clips to connect nails for soil resistance sensing. It's a good starter project for people who want to do plant-based projects on their microbit or Clue. That's new products.
Okay, so don't forget, code is rockblock. We'll keep that till midnight. We're going to do a little bit top secret, but start loading up your questions over on adafruit.it/discord. Put your questions there. We'll get to them, and join all 16,000 of us, even when we're not there. A lot of us are in the chat almost all the time because a lot of us are in different time zones. So top secret this week, a couple things. I'm going to play the videos back to back. The first one is MakeCode with the Bluefruit Express. Next one after that is the plotter that is running on Clue.
Yep, coming soon.
Coming soon.
Still under development, but
And
getting close.
yeah, and I already showed, this is the silk of the Bonsai Buckaroo. Actually, before I do the videos, here's a couple work in progress things that we're showing off on various places and things for Piloton, which is an open source bike computer that folks can hook up to a stationary bike or a real bike. So let's watch the videos and we'll see you on the other side.
Okay.
All right, Lady Ada, what is this?
Hey, this is a Circuit Playground Bluefruit. You can see it says Bluefruit on the back, and this is our NR52840 Circuit Playground, and I programmed it with MakeCode.
What?
So, what? Yeah, this is super alpha, unreleased, unsupported, but I've written the basic shake to animate and make some sounds, and the simulator works as well. You can see the lights over there. And I got the LEDs working, sensors, buttons. Not everything's working. Again, it's very early, but I know people have been really clamoring to see the NR52 series on MakeCode, and it is coming, slowly but surely.
All right, Lady Ada, what is this?
Hey, this is a demo of my plotter code that I wrote for Arduino on the Clue board. It's Microbit Monday, and Clue's microbit shaped. So this is it plotting temperature, it's kind of boring. And then this is pressure. So as I move this up and down, you can actually see the pressure changes. Humidity's a little buggy, I gotta figure that out. Light is interesting. So you can see if I shine a light, it plots the light. And it actually does automatic ranging. So as it does the plotting, like the range changes, which is kind of cool. I also did color. So like I've got this green thing here. If I put it over it, you can see red, green, and blue traces for the red, green, and blue components.
Yep.
And proximity. So as I move closer and farther away. There you go. Lots of cool plotting on the Clue.
And we also have a couple other photos. This is the upcoming NXP-based feather.
With display IO working.
Yep, Arturo and Lady Ada are working on this. Display is working. It is a super fast NXP-based feather. So feather format, one of the fastest chips available.
Flies its way to CircuitPython.
It flakes, it flies, it flews, takes flight. These headlines write themselves. All right, so that's the end of Top Secret. Okay, so let's do the questions. We'll get to those. I didn't set up phone stuff tonight, so no giveaway tonight, but we did a giveaway earlier today on the other show that we did.
There was given away,
yeah.
so that's why you gotta catch all of our shows.
So here's the first question. Are there any feathers that have CAN bus networking built in? It seems the only option is TC, unless I'm not saying something.
The only one I know that has CAN pins broken out for sure is the STM32F405 feather. However, I don't know that there is. I know that there's a library in MicroPython for it, but I don't know if there's a library in Arduino because I don't think ST released a library for it. But I know that there's CAN pins exposed, and I know that there's a MicroPython library.
Okay. Question: where is Colin from Colin Electronics? Colin is on
all the apps that you're loving.
Yeah, Colin is.
That
he's a
puppet?
he's a full-time employee at Adafruit. He leads all the app development.
Yep.
And sometimes we have time for videos, sometimes we don't. He runs the video series A through Z of Electronics with the puppets. So he's the puppeteer behind AdaBot a lot of
That's
times.
right.
So it all depends. We want to do
behind the scenes.
Yeah, we want to do pseudo random again, but it's just timing. Like we want to finish our A through Z electronics series, and then someone from the chat. This is Sedacious Brian helped out and posted a link to the feather shield. It's a feather CAN bus shield on Tindy. So thank you for posting that. And then a lot of people want to know about the watermelon on the board.
I'll tell you later.
We'll tell you later is the correct response to that question. And
It's not out yet. Don't ask.
so someone noticed why are these capacitors so big?
I think because, when it's transmitting or receiving, there's probably a gigantic burst of energy because it has to reach into outer space.
Yeah.
And so these capacitors help keep the power supply nice and even. For
Okay.
when it's, talking to space.
Yeah. I think it's just an observation.
Like, come on, man. It's
Yeah.
space.
Okay. And unless there's any other questions, I think we're gonna wrap it up.
All right. Sweet. Thanks, everybody.
Let's see. Yeah.
Next week we'll
energy
have a
boost.
giveaway.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do giveaways. We'll do a couple things next week. All right. Well, that's the questions.
Thanks,
for the week.
everybody.
Don't forget the code is
Rock block.
Rockblock. Thank you, everyone who's helping out in the chat, all the Adafruit team members, all the Adafruit community members, our moderators and helpers. Zay is in the chat. Thank you, Zay, in the Adafruit Slack behind the scenes, helping run stuff. Special thanks to all the folks out there who purchase things and keep this thing going. Thanks for tuning in. We had 3 shows that we did today.
I know, it was.
No, Pager had a show. And then tomorrow, JP has a show.
Oh, yeah.
So we had shows.
Shows.
So we'll see everybody next week. And thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Here's your moment of
everybody.
Zener.
Thank you, Plant.